joining me now, as he does every Wednesday, the wonderful broadcaster and wordsmith, Kel Richards. We want to start, if we can, please, Kel, with the word reconciliation. And tell you why it's important. It had dropped out by virtue of the government sort of leaving the focus on the voice and not so much on reconciliation. It had dropped out of this voice debate. Most Australians, I know from polling, support reconciliation. I've got a lot of goodwill towards it, at least. But what's being proposed is a voice, which is a power grab, it's co-governance, it's not reconciliation, it is so much more. But it's interesting, now that their back's against the wall and the No campaign is in the ascendancy, they're dropping sort of the debate about the voice and they're putting reconciliation back there very much front and centre. And that was a big focus for the minister today at the National Press Club. What does reconciliation actually mean? Actually, what it means is a bit dodgy in a sense. Now, I know that Linda Burney's brought it back and the Yes 23 campaign has brought it back. Reconciliation in ordinary language is really clear and has a definite endpoint. So if George and Jack have an argument and then afterwards they get to a point where they say sorry and shake hands, that's reconciliation. What it clearly is, and its definite endpoint, is really easy to see. But when you elevate it to a level where you're talking about mass groups of people without a precise program, it actually becomes, I think, incoherent. It lacks meaning and there's no definite endpoint. There was a great Oxford language philosopher named J.L. Austin who said when you do that to a word, it loses its cash value. I mean, it's a lovely expression. And if you look at the way they're using the word reconciliation now, it's not clear what it means or what the endpoint is. The fact that Sorry Day has to happen every year on the 26th of May, year after year, suggests the apology's not being accepted. So it's as if George apologises to Jack and Jack says, I won't accept your apology. So there's no definite endpoint. So until there's action on the other side. Yeah. I'm just making the point too, if the voice goes into the Constitution, there is not reconciliation despite the pitch from the minister today, because of course then comes the treaty, then comes truth-telling, and you can't see the sense, even though there's no division in Australia right now, at least, on the basis of race, you get the sense that this will just be a constant sore or wound for the country, that there isn't, as you say, an endpoint. What about this word PEP? It's not a word, actually, is it? Nigel Farage mentioned it. It was one of the reasons put to him as to why his bank accounts have been closed. What does it mean? Well, you're right, it's not a word, it's an initialism. Stands for politically exposed person. And it happens under money laundering and supporting terrorism sort of rules. And someone can be, by the authorities, classified as a PEP, a politically exposed person. It's usually a person prominent and powerful in public office, but mind you, it can extend to their family or to their associates. And once they're classified like that, the fear is they might be bribed or coerced or in some way persuaded to do something for organised crimes or bodies or for terrorists. And so, once they're classified as a PEP, their bank is required to report their bank transactions and anything that looks the least bit iffy. Now, that is a pain in the neck for banks. So they take the easy way out and they just say to the person, we're closing your account. So they don't have to do all that paperwork and have someone sitting there watching what's going on. That's why they close the accounts. And it looks as though, in Nigel's case, he was classified as a PEP and Cootes Bank that he was with said, oh, too much trouble, can't be bothered, Nigel, we're closing the account. Now, we can't know for certain because it's highly secretive, there is no appeal, and if you start saying something about, you know, a democracy and a free society, I'd be on your side. Well, and of course, Nigel Farage is not a public figure. He's not a politician. I mean, he's a commentator now. He's in the media space. But that's the interesting thing. Let's go to this one. John from Gold Coast loves the show. Says, what's the difference, a very topical one, John, between misinformation and disinformation? Misinformation is a lie. Sorry, other way around. Respool the tape. Disinformation is a lie. Misinformation is innocently and unknowingly repeating a lie. So disinformation is the lie. Misinformation is innocently repeating it. What connects the two is falsehood. So if you want to make an allegation of misinformation and disinformation, you have to do two things. Firstly, make it really clear what proposition you're alleging is false. And secondly, produce the evidence it is false. And they're not doing that, are they? we are going to get across these two more and more in coming weeks with this legislation coming through the Parliament. Kel, love your company as always. Thank you for your time.